Well, get this. The Taliban now praising suicide bombers as, quote, martyrs and heroes of Islam as they, the Taliban, promise cash of about $112 and land rewards to their surviving families.
That is unbelievable. So they think if they do this, they'll get a better place in heaven and my family will get a lot of money.
$112.
This comes as the State Department's Inspector General is set to brief Congress on its probe into the Biden administration's chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan.
And so far we hear, according to our sources, they're very professional, the Taliban. So what can we expect in terms of accountability? Let's discuss with Fox News contributor, former Secretary of State, CIA Director Mike Pompeo. Mr. Secretary, what should we take from the Inspector General saying we're going to look into this? Can we expect something of substance?
Well, my experience with the IG, it was largely worthless. It was political. It was very partisan. So I don't hold out high hope. I'm glad that they're going to take a look at this, but we don't need to ask too many questions, though, Brian. We saw this with our own eyes. We saw the debacle that was the way they withdrew from Afghanistan there. I'm happy if they take a technical look and see what went wrong, but we know for sure what happened to the Americans that still remain in Afghanistan. We know that there were 13 Americans that perished in the departure. We have a pretty good idea of the debacle that was our withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Well, absolutely. And the administration at that time, because it was so chaotic, was going, you know, there are partners in getting out, and they're going to do the security around the airport, and we're going to just be hunkered down inside. But, Mr. Secretary, you know, this story about the Taliban, they're offering cash and prizes to the surviving family of the Taliban members who blew themselves up targeting our people. What kind of partners are those?
Yeah, they're not partners. These are adversaries. These are folks who are trying to undermine the Western way of life. They want to put Sharia law, the old school style Sharia law, something that we all know and have seen. You know, Steve, it reminds me, the other folks who pay to kill Americans or Israelis are the Palestinian Authority, right? We've seen this before. Pay for slay is not something that's new. The fact that the Taliban are doing this just tells you precisely the kind of human beings that we're dealing with, the fact that they don't care about human life. And it also reminds me, Steve, how successful we were for that last year and change, where we didn't have a single American attacked, no American killed for sure, but not even an American attacked. Even in spite of the fact that the Taliban clearly would have liked to have done that, and we're prepared to pay, it sounds like, to do it. We'd established a deterrence model that kept our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines safe.
What's the latest on the evacuations? How many Americans are still over there?
Ainsley, I don't know the number of Americans who are still there. I know there are still dozens and dozens. There are a bunch of us still working on projects, trying to get folks home, trying to get them back. I couldn't tell you how many sit inside the country.
How many are you working on getting back?
This. More than 50.
Wow.
And not all are U.S. citizens. Some of them are green card holders and other statuses. We're trying to get all the folks back that we know deserve to be back here. We want to make sure that we know who's coming back and that they're vetted right. We think we've done that. But it's time to make sure we get every last one of them home.
Mr. Secretary, there's one constant through all the groups I talk to, and that is that the State Department is not only not helping, they are hindering. Not defense, the State Department. That was a department you used to run. Who would not want Americans out, SIVs out?
Brian, I can't answer that question. It's incomprehensible to me. I've seen this as well, where the State Department's not been willing to do the things that it needed to do to help get these folks out. I know, too, when we were in office, when we had people trapped all across the world because of the Wuhan virus, the world had shut down, we moved heaven and earth to get people on airplanes. We used commercial fleets, we used military aircraft, we used every tool in our arsenal to get Americans home. It's what we do. We don't leave them behind. And for the State Department not only support what we're doing, but not lift a finger to help lots of groups that I know are out there trying to do this is incomprehensible to me, Brian.
It's sickening. It's sickening. Mr. Secretary, thanks so much. Always good to see you.